Say hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett, and alongside me is, as I always call him, a Pub Sports Radio original, Donnie Rightside. Donnie, how are you doing over there?
Doing good, man. Happy to join you on a Wednesday. Talk a little Major League Baseball in the month of June already, Jose. Say it ain't so.
It is in fact moving pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. That's how it happens. We're in the semi-dog days. Just wait until we get into these hotter months. It's going to get even better. But let's officially kick it off, Donnie. We'll say officially, we're on the Say Hey Plays 56. Say Hey Plays 56 was underway officially here. Very exciting time yesterday. Middling day, 3-5, only down a unit, but highlighted by me taking the Pittsburgh Pirates money line back-to-back days now. I've taken them against the Dodgers. Been pretty funny watching them cash. But overall, a successful season, 179, 167, up 16.79 units, so cannot complain. Have, I believe, about 4 plays on the card so far, and I've got a couple more I'm looking at, and I'm hoping, Donnie, that you will get me on the right side, as they say. Are you excited about this card? We're going to talk about your Phillies to start it off here. Maybe you guys are going to have a new manager here in the next couple of days. It's an exciting baseball season, but overall, how's just your baseball season going, I guess?
Good. It's going good so far. And I saw the tweet you put out earlier today, and I'd be more than happy to say I think it's the right side, even though I'm on the opposite side as you, Jose. So we'll be able to factor in those games down in Oriole Park at Camden Yards in just a few moments. But the Philadelphia Phillies, yeah, things aren't going well. They need a big-time win tonight. I'm sure we'll get to that game as well, seeing some of the ins and outs and Aaron Nola needing to step up. But Joe Girardi, will he be the manager moving forward? He better get some wins, Jose, or he's going to be out of here real quick. I heard talks of possibly Jim Leland taking over. The guy's like 95. My goodness. Smoking cigarettes in the tunnel. I'm here for it, though.
What a legend. What a legend. Shout out to Jim Leland. When I was a bat boy a couple of years ago, minor league bat boy at AA Padres affiliate, I was bat boying for the away team, and one of their coaches was just ripping cigs between innings. It was awesome. He would just go in the tunnel between innings, just hit a cig, go and then come back out, of course, throw himself some dip in between innings. It was all time. Guy's a legend.
He is
so
absolutely
shout out to him.
Yep.
That is a real baseball managership. But let's talk about the Phillies. They're first up on our card here, Nola versus Rodon. I didn't move on this game personally because the Phillies are just such a hit or miss, just train wreck. They're always looking to hurt their fans in some way. I said Joe Girardi would not be the manager of this club by the end of July, and I overshot it by a lot. Obviously, I thought they'd get some wins eventually, but I mean, it's tough. It is brutal to watch this team lose different games, different ways. So I've got nothing on this game here, Donnie. What about you?
Yeah, just from a Phillies standpoint, I guess a minus 124 as I'm looking at right now for the Phillies. I do think they are a decent play tonight. Now, if we take a look at the San Francisco Giants lineup, I actually bet yesterday early in the day, Jose, the team total on San Francisco over 4.5 at a plus 100 price. The lineup came out like, man, are you kidding me, San Francisco? What are you trying to do to me with this terrible lineup? And it still didn't matter. Extra innings, it still cashes all the same way. But the one thing that we do know, the Phillies bullpen really needs some repair. But we've been saying that for years and years now. You go to extra innings, you're expecting the Phillies to lose. But tonight, as we saw in the last performance on the road by Aaron Nola against the Atlanta Braves, he was sensational. 8 in the third. Ended up with, 10 strikeouts in that game, only gave up 1 earned run, which is actually giving up by a reliever in that game in the 9th inning, which is charged to Aaron Nola. I think he bounces back tonight, and here's the reason why. A lot of left-handed batters in the lineup tonight for the San Francisco Giants. Out of the 9 batters, 7 of those, Jose, going to come from the left-hand side. Here's the issue. Typically, you'd say to yourself, okay, that's the way you want to attack Aaron Nola. Forget about right-handed batters. He probably dominates, which he hasn't been this year. 224 ISO power number to righties, which that ain't good enough here. But to lefties, Jose, he's been really solid. How about this? A 214 weighted on base percentage and an ISO power number of 113. I think Nola holds the bats down. The Phillies pick up a victory. I'll take Nola and the Phillies tonight. Rare that I do that at a minus 124 price.
Wow, Donnie writes it on the Phillies.
Yeah.
It is rare. I feel like I never do see you on the Phillies.
Never.
That is exciting. That game starts up here soon, so I'm excited to watch. And you're right, Joe Girardi needs the wins. Nola, the ace of the staff, and it seems like he might be on a little run here. You mentioned 8 1/3 against Atlanta. At Atlanta makes that even more impressive. He
Yeah.
goes 5 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 home runs at the Dodgers, or I should say at home for the Dodgers, 9 Ks, 1 walk there. He's getting into a groove. Dodgers a tough lineup, not for Pirates pitchers, obviously, but I do like the Phillies today. I would lean that way as well with him. I'm not a Rodon guy. I never have been. Even when he was dominating early in the season, it was always seemed kind of tenuous for me. So I'll move on here, but Donnie on Los Phillies there. We'll move on. LA Angels versus the Yankees here. Detmers Cortez, I believe you got on the bump here.
Yep.
Let's see here. Let me talk about Nestor Cortez, my mustachioed cousin. When I do
Yeah.
have my full mustache on there, I do, me and him, we could
Ah.
be passed off for each other. It is very nice, me and Nestor. Shout out to Nestor. 8 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 5 Ks, 1 walk at Tampa Bay. Masterful stuff. I tried to bet against him that day. That was the first game of the series at the Trop, thinking of home dog for the Rays, sure, and especially in a House of Horrors for the Yankees. But Nestor's really, really good. He's the best pitcher on that staff, especially over Garrett Cole. I mean, Garrett Cole's the third, fourth best pitcher on that staff right now, which is hilarious to see. Versus the White Sox before that race start, he goes 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, a home run there, 7 Ks, no walks. Reed Detmers on the other side, we all know his no-hit performance, but we did pick up some money on him last time out. Faded him against the Rangers. We took their team total over 3.5. He gave up 5 earned runs for him off 2 home runs in 6 innings. Back to back. I don't think he's a good pitcher just in general. That no-hitter performance was, shout out to him. Masterful, I guess, getting guys to ground out and fly out in all different ways. But I like the Yankees here today, obviously. My lean here and a play that I have circled is their team total over 4.5 here, Donnie. I
Yeah.
think it's around even money right now, too. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Minus 180. It is an expensive price from the Yankees. And I'm also still one of those people that watch Nestor Cortez, Jose, and say, man, I know he's getting people out, and I know his numbers look really good, but aren't we waiting? I guess maybe that was part of your bet against Nestor Cortez in the last. He can't be this good all the way through. Otherwise, he's going to be the AL Cy Young Award winner. And who would have thought coming into 2022 that Nestor Cortez would be the
Exactly.
best pitcher on this Yankee staff, including his staff that does have Garrett Cole? Now, the one thing, if you look at the lineup today for the Angels, they do have some thumpers in the lineup who have done very well this year against left-handed pitching, particularly Ward out of the leadoff spot, 492 weighted on base percentage. Mike Trout, 506. Rengifo, 436. And Suzuki, even though he only has 12 at-bats against left-handed pitching, he does have a weighted on base percentage of 406. But yesterday, I actually thought there was a decent chance against a lefty that this Angels team would be able to hit. They didn't hit. They got trounced 9-1 yesterday. So if we're looking at like what we like to say, a parlay piece to put in, I do think the Yankees are going to handle their business, but I'm still not willing to take Cortez at a minus 180. But maybe I'm crazy. Maybe then Cincinnati, Jose, 6-1 final again for the Yankees. And you say to yourself, why am I continually not taking the free money on Nestor Cortez? But I'm waiting it out here. But I do think the Yankees win this game. And if I'm looking to parlay up somebody, the Yankees would be a piece to that parlay for me.
Yeah, that's kind of why I think I'm leaning towards the team total. 4.5 is in fact at even money. I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. I like I said, I like Nestor Cortez. I think he's the best pitcher on this staff, but when it comes to just putting money on him, it's just a little scary at the end of the day, I guess. Like you said, it seems like at the end of the day, it can't pitch this well
Yeah.
the whole year. So we'll sit there and think about it, and I'll decide if I want to hit that team total over 4.5 because I do not believe in Reed Detmers. Yankees against lefties, and by the way, I cut my splits down. We're talking from June 15th, or I should say May 15th, because we're in June
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
May 15th to June 1st to today are my splits now. So I've got the Yankees from then. 107 weighted runs created plus against lefties. That's about 16th. So
That works.
average. Where it's above average, but it's average in the
Yeah.
league. So I mean, I want to bet it get there, but I don't think I am. But I'll sit there and think about it. But we'll talk about this next game because it does seem like it is interesting to both of us here. Seattle, Baltimore here. I'm on the Orioles money line here and the team total over 3.5 for for the Orioles, which seems like shocking to say sometimes when you say I have Orioles money line out loud, especially against Robbie Ray. But Donnie, I will say this. I talked about this earlier today with betting with Jimmy the Bag on betting with the bag. It just seems like the Mariners have an East Coast problem. And it's very funny to say, and that's what I'm relying with on my capping here. Like I wish I could give you just like a long list of extensive stats and wobas and all this stuff. But just look at the schedule here. At Tampa Bay, they go 1-2. At the Toronto Blue Jays, they go 1-2. At the Red Sox, they go 0-4. At Miami, they go 1-2. So ultimately, and right now they beat the Orioles yesterday 10-0, whatever the score ended up being. I think they ended up losing this game, which is shocking to say. And Robbie Ray has not pitched well. I could definitely see an over in this game too, because I mean, faith in Kyle Bradish is scary to say at the end of the day. And by the way, Justin Verlander's no hitter bid just got turned off by the Oakland A's, and he just gave up the lead too. So it's 1-1. As soon as I turned that game on, by the way, because I saw our guy Michael Orvalina in the chat saying. He's still throwing a no-hitter, and I was like, I might as well, right? I might as well turn it on, but no, of course not. So, but yeah, like I said, I could definitely see it over in this game. Faith in Kyle Bradish is kind of scary to put in. You know, I've trusted worse with Zach Thompson and Mitch Keller earlier this week. So ultimately, when I think about that, I'm just like, the East Coast, the Mariners not hitting well. Kyle Bradish thinks a little better than his numbers, so give me the plus money here. So, what do you think, Donnie?
I'm going to go opposite here. And this is what makes it fun, right? When you have handicappers on that say, now hold on. I think I'm going in the opposite direction, because if you tuned into the show, me and Jose, and we agreed on every single play, kumbaya, what kind of show would we have here, Jose, right? So I'm going to go against you in this one. And it's not to say I'm in love with Robbie Ray, but if I'm looking at the projections, and also very interesting, I did the early line this morning and looking at games. I don't know if it's ever happened in Major League Baseball where you stomp a team 10-0, and then you come back the very next game and you get stomped 10-0, which the Baltimore Orioles did. So if we take a look at this game, expect them to bounce back a little bit. Yes, you are going to get a lot of right-handed batters in that lineup there for the Baltimore Orioles. And you're right. ISO power numbers, lefty and righty here against Robbie Ray. They've got them this year. I don't know where it was last year, but it's certainly not the same thing this year. And you figure with the baseballs being dumbed down this year, Ray would be even more incredible than he was last year, but that's not the case. But if we're looking at that Baltimore Orioles lineup, for me, ISO power numbers versus left-handed pitching this year just haven't been there. Only one guy in the lineup, the guy at the 9-hole tonight, Mateo, with a 194 ISO power number. Everybody else below that 175 threshold. And even if we flip it over to weighted on base percentages here, only one guy at a 324 or higher, and that's Trey Mancini. Everybody else below par. And we know Robbie Ray is a strikeout pitcher. Close to 30% of the batters that he's faced this year in 2022, he's handled. If we take a look at the K percentage here, a lot of guys, Jose, in this lineup, 24%, 25%, 27%, 22%, 21%, 30%, and 32% K rates. I think Robbie Ray gets some Ks, holds those bats down, and I took the Seattle Mariners this morning at a minus 140 price. So we'll go head-to-head on this one, and we'll see what happens at the end of this ball game. So I wish you good luck.
Thank you, Donnie, and I wish you the worst of luck in this scenario. But I'll push back on myself here, and I will say the splits: 95 weighted runs created plus against lefties. Baltimore Orioles is 21st. Not anything to blow right home about. And the Seattle Mariners 5th, 128 weighted runs created plus in that time span too. So they've been hot. Robbie Ray a little worse at home, a 3.86 at home, a 5.64 on the road. So it'll be a fun matchup to see. I will definitely have my eye on this. And by the way, your Oakland A's just took the lead 3-1. So Justin Verlander's collapse is official. You hate to see that. Makes me just
look like a good bounce back performance right there for Verlander. Like, man, guy's going to throw a no-no. We'll see it close on the air. And not only forget about the no-no, how about no-no win here for the Astros the way it's lining up? Terrible.
Shout out to Oakland A's backers there. Let's talk about the second half of a doubleheader. I don't know if game 2 has officially finished yet. I'm actually watching the Braves game here because blackouts. Yeah, 14-0. Ooh, sheesh. Well, I'll tell you, I went right back to Miami first 5 minus 110 here. I actually bet Miami first 5 yesterday with Edward Cabrera because I love backing a fireball pitcher on his first debut start. I love that stuff. You know, I know Edwards pitched in the majors, but you know, it turns out he comes out and pitches really well. You know, he had a no-hitter for a little bit too. But you get him in that game, he does well. The bats come out, and I kind of wish they would save some for game two, but I like Trevor Rogers ultimately at the end of the day. I know he struggled. His pedigree is good. And I think this is just a fade of Herman Marquez at the end of the day, to be honest. My guy here has struggled basically every start. At the Nationals, 6 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 2Ks, 3 walks. Versus the Mets, 6 innings, 11 hits, 5 earned runs, or 5 runs, I should say. We're like to give him his credit. Only 5 of them runs in, but only 4 of them earned. 7 Ks, 1 walk, a home run there. The Rockies against righties in my splits here, 84 weighted runs created plus. That's 25th, not the best.
Yeah.
While Miami ninth, 119 against righties, and that number both of the well, I should say both of those numbers are not going to be as accurate because that game is still going on. But you guys have just seen what Miami does to those pitchers. Herman Marquez, not even a better pitcher here, so we'll see. I think that I have not watched that game because I saw I was like, oh, 6-0, 8-0. Okay, well I'm all set here. I'm assuming they've used up some arms there too. I'll look it up right here right now, but they've probably used some arms, and they're going to rely on Herman Marquez to hopefully give them 6. And I will gladly take my chances with Herman Marquez for 6 innings against the Miami Marlins, even though they've gone bomb squad today. So I'm on Miami first 5, and they've used Senzatella, Shashin, Smith, and Estevez. So only 4 pitchers, so not that many. So still feel confident though. But Herman Marquez first 5 for me is a fade all the time. What about you, Donnie?
Yeah, one of those games that feels like we're probably going to end up getting a regular player in the game as opposed to a pitcher there on the mound to finish this one out. We'll see what happens. But if we're looking at Herman Marquez, it's an interesting number here. He's got an xFIP minus on the season of 97. The baseline is 100. So obviously anything below that is good. Anything below that is, above the Major League Baseball average. He's got that 6.30 ERA, but his xFIP isn't too bad, 3.85. But if we're looking at just like weighted on base percentages here for Herman Marquez, lefties have absolutely torched him this year. A 396 weighted on base percentage. ISO power number, not too bad at 177. Righties, 327, and that's where the power is coming in. 242 ISO power number. So you would think more runs to come, but I'm a big weather guy here, Jose, as well. Kind of interesting that they scored 14 runs in that first game, obviously covering the total. But if we see the second game here, due to tip-off, it says 6:40 Eastern is when they're anticipating. How about 55 degrees at first pitch out in Colorado? It's hot. It's like I just came in before the show from outside. It's hot and muggy here on the East Coast. Certainly isn't hot and muggy out there in the Rockies at this point. So maybe that plays into a little bit. But then again, didn't play into it maybe for the Colorado bats if they didn't even score. But the Marlins out here living large in the 50s.
See, I definitely thought, I was like, man, all my Hispanic brothers out there, they're gonna freeze their ass off in game one. I said earlier this morning, Venezuelan people do not operate well in the cold.
Yeah.
I know from her firsthand experience, guys. You put me in sub 50, I'm gonna be at 50%.
Yeah.
So I just can't do it there. But the bats obviously not affected. Hopefully they keep rolling on to today. It makes me feel a little uncomfortable that they're blowing them out, but we ride anyway. So we're on Marlins first 5. For me, it's a minus 110 for the money line. Pretty shocking to see that Trevor Rogers is an underdog too, full game. But that is just my personal opinion. Let's check out the chat real quick. Shout out to everyone joining us. GVO Dale 305, Mr. MDR, Meow, Jake Burns, Dav Fan, Real Deal Prime. All you guys, thank you guys for joining us as always. Paco Healy, Viper MB is looking at a lot of plays today. Need Braves -1 money line. Dodge over 8.5 there. And shout out to you guys, Jefferson C, Kenny V, everyone for joining us. All right, so let's move on. The White Sox versus the Blue Jays game here. Very fascinating game. A good pitching matchup. Very good pitching matchup here. Kopech versus Ryu. And I'm glad that Charlie Montoya and the Blue Jays, they gave Ryu, like, oh, you got a shoulder, whatever. You sit out, Ryu. Relax. We need you for October, the later months. And it seems like when I'm looking back early in the year, it seemed like it was always a case where he just throw so early on and it just get worn out late and just start getting crushed. Now it seems like it's starting to take a slower approach. He's pitched well his last 2 appearances at the Angels, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, a K and a walk. And then versus Cincinnati, 6 innings, 6 hits, no earned runs there, 3 Ks, 1 walk. I mean, I've said it before. If you look at his numbers, you'd be surprised at how many times he's led the ERA or led his team in ERA and just dominated. But Kopech on the other side is not a fucking slouch either. He went back to back against the Yankees, and he gave up 3 runs in both those starts combined, and those 3 runs came in his first start against them on 1 hit. I mean, 4 walks. Obviously, it was a little wild that day, but he went to the Bronx, 7 innings, 1 hit ball, 6 Ks, 2 walks there. Obviously, no runs. So, I mean, I don't hate anyone on the White Sox here, but we've seen Jimmy the Bag obviously say every day he's going to be betting the Blue Jays. He thinks that they're the best team in baseball. They're turning around this hot stretch here, or they turn around from a cold stretch. Now they're hot or starting to become hot, hitting with runners in scoring position. But I didn't want to take this game. This is just a tough game for me to cap. And my last little mention here for Kopech, he only gave up 3 earned runs last month, and those were 3 earned runs versus the Yankees on a 1 hit, 4 walk day. So Kopech is the real deal. I mean, it's just he's scary good, and that days like today make me think like, man, I wish I had Michael Kopech and Yoan Moncada over Chris Sale, but World Series championship is all that matters. So I'll rely on that, Donnie, and let that my mind be eased by that. What do you have on this game?
Yeah, exactly. At the time, you're like, heck yeah, give me Chris Sale. You win a series, then it's always like, oh, down the line, eventually, some of these prospects are going to be good. But you certainly would take the World Series over anything. If I'm looking at this game, I don't know who's going to win the game, but you are getting Kopech here at a plus 102 price at FanDuel. That's showing a lot of respect for him going on the road, taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. But I got to tell you, the age-old theory, right? When the White Sox line up against a left-handed pitcher, you take them. I subscribe to that somewhat, but I actually like their team total tonight, Jose. I took it at 3.5 here earlier in the day at a minus 120 price. So 4 runs is going to cash you that ticket. Now, granted, Ryu was terrible in the month of April. He sort of turned it around in the month of May, but I'm still going to go with that first 60-day analysis where right-handers can touch him up. But if you're looking at the Chicago White Sox lineup tonight, only one right-hander in the lineup tonight. Excuse me, only one left-hander. That's McGuire. He's an auto out anyway. What is he? Yep. 0 ISO power number, 0.77 weighted on base percentage versus lefties. But a couple guys can do some damage, particularly in the heart of that order. If we look even in the leadoff position, Pollock at 350 weighted on base percentage versus lefties. You got Abreu at a 420, Robert at a 466, and Berger at a 414. I think they can do enough damage, maybe catch a home run or two to get me those 4 runs. They can lose this game 5-4, and I'll be happy as anything as long as the White Sox get 4 runs here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it at all, and we all know what the Blue Jays bullpen will give us here. If Ryu does go 5, 4 innings of Blue Jays bullpen seems sure enough like a run or two for me. So I like that look there, Donnie. It would for sure be a team total look for me, and I could see either side of it too. But it would be team total. Don't want to pick a side for sure. Shout out to, by the way, Mr. MDR, who gives us our numbers. Whenever we go to a number, we see who wore that jersey number 56. Not his favorite number, and not a number worn by many. Mark Buehrle, sure, kind of a blend.
Buehrle, man. Sure.
Remember my Mark Buehrle memory, besides him throwing, was it a perfect game or no?
Perfect game, I think it was, wasn't it? Was it a perfect game, I think?
I think so. My that was my memory, and then his between the legs flip. That was the ESPN top play for literally the whole year, and it was like opening day, and that was the only thing I remember from Mark Buehrle. Shout out to him. Not a Hall of Famer though, unfortunately.
July of 2009, perfect game it was. Boy, time goes fast. My goodness, year 2009. Goodness.
Yeah, I was wee lad then. I will not reveal my age to you, Donnie. Do not worry, I got you. I will make you feel like a young man again here, Donnie. Let's move on to Red Sox and the Reds here. You know what's funny here? I occasionally accidentally don't cap a game, and it's usually the Red Sox because they are my favorite team on the thing on the app, and I just skip them to try to go in chronological, and I just skipped them today here. So it's lovely to see. I love that. It is Garrett Whitlock versus Hunter Green, and we all know that Hunter Green is the fireballer that we all expected. Let's look up his last couple of starts because he did have a little bounce back here.
He did.
And yeah, he did. And he gave up 5 home runs in one game. Shout out to him. But that's still a shocking thing when you pull up his baseball or his fan graphs, whatever you look at. You just look, oh, okay. 3 home runs, 5 home runs. This is crazy. But versus Chicago Cubs, last time out, he went 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, a 3 home run performance, 6 Ks, and 2 walks there. At Toronto, he dominated there, 6 innings, 4 hits, an earned run off a home run, obviously, 6 Ks, 2 walks there. It turns out, Donnie, out if you throw 104 and it's super flat,
Yeah.
and you just get the barrel on it,
Mm-hmm.
you're likely to hit a home run. It turns out that is the case here with Hunter Green. And I'm a little worried for him in Fenway Park, obviously. Red Sox bats have been a little cold, and I'm honestly a little concerned for the Red Sox here. If the Red Sox do not score in this game, do not have a good offensive performance here, I will officially be sounding the sirens and saying that this team can no longer be bet on, team totals, etc., because they're in a cold streak. I mean, losing 3 out of 5, I believe they lost to the Orioles, and now they get shut out by Luis Castillo, who, I mean, he's a great pitcher, and low key, I was kind of happy he did that against the Red Sox, because maybe Chaim Bloom will see that and be like, I like that guy. Let's go get that guy. But we'll see here. I kind of expect a higher scoring game, to be honest. An 8.5 does seem shocking. Garrett Whitlock's numbers since coming into the starting rotation does not make me feel great either. I honestly I don't want to say this out loud, but I'm a little worried that they're going to pull a Daniel Bard on Garrett Whitlock and say starter, closer, and just kind of screw him up when he just should have been a closer to begin with. But we'll see. I mean, last 2 starts versus the Orioles at home, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, a home run, 4 Ks, 1 walk. A good performance there. And then versus Seattle Mariners, he got crushed. 3 innings, 5 hits. 5 earned runs, 10 hits, no earned runs, 3 Ks, no walks there. So it's a concern, but I am expecting runs here. What do you think, Donnie?
Yeah, we should be getting runs here. Now, last night we didn't get those runs. And also, where the rest of the East Coast, particularly places like Baltimore, getting close to 90 degrees at first pitch, Hub and Beantown tonight, looks like first pitch is going to be in the 50s. And also an issue tonight is rain. 75% chance of rain tonight throughout those innings. You might get a lot of delays, which means you might be putting in bullpen guys and piecemealing a game together. And you're right, Garrett Whitlock has been actually a decent pitcher in the month of May, but he's not a shutdown guy through his starts. 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 innings, 3 earned runs, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 innings, got torched, I guess, against Seattle here with 10 hits and 5 earned runs. But had a nice bounce back performance against the Baltimore Orioles at 6 innings and 2 earned runs. You should get runs tonight. I'm more likely to take the over than anything in this game, but just a little bit leery. Getting so used here, Jose, to hitting weather, talking about being in the 70s and the 80s and approaching into the 90s. You see some of these games in the 50s, which it was last night, and you get a lot of offense there. Maybe it was the pitching as opposed to the bats or the chilly weather. Tonight, these 2 pitchers should be able to give up runs.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's very often you see a total this low in Fenway. I'll be honest. Doing this every day, I'm thinking about it, and it's 8.5. It seems like it's automatically 9, 10 at least. But very interesting. And you're right about the weather. Ballpark Pal also saying that there's wind blowing in 56 or 86% humidity because it's going to rain apparently, and a 12% lower than average home run percentage according to Ballpark Pal as well. So that's also interesting. And Donnie, if this does become a bullpen game, here's the thing: if this done rain delay, whatever, the pitchers come out of here, this is going to turn into a slugfest because the Reds bullpen is horrific, and the Red Sox bullpen can be just shit down its leg awful.
Yep.
So I can't move on anything here. I guess that's another reason why I didn't cap it, because I knew I wasn't going to move on anything subconsciously. But it would be over or nothing here, and I'm a little worried about the conditions, like you said.
Yes.
So shout out to the weather there, and thank you for bringing that up as always in your infinite wisdom, Donnie. Let's move on. Ober versus Skubal here, Twins Tigers. We've seen this matchup before, and I was like, I feel like we've seen this before, and we have on the 28th of last month. Actually, it was 2 months ago now, technically. We had them go against each other. Ober went 3 2/3, 6 hits, 1 run, 3 Ks, 2 walks. Skubal went 5, 6 runs, 5 of them earned, 4 Ks, 2 walks. And we kind of would expect the opposite to be the case here. I mean, Skubal, I guess I've come around on him. I'm not still not a big Schoolable guy, but he's been the best pitcher in the staff, obviously. He's had a back-to-back against Cleveland. We'll talk about his first start at Cleveland. 5 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 5 Ks, no walks. Solid. Then he goes home, 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, 1 walk. I take that from starter. So, and the Cleveland's offense has been pretty good this year, but take that with what you will. Ober is a pitcher that I also like as well. Coming into this season, I thought it would be a bet on pitcher. He's had some injury issues, but he's back. He went 3 against the Royals last time out, and he also had a back-to-back. And I hate these back-to-back starts on these pitchers that I like. It's like I said, Reed Detmers, someone I don't like, a back-to-back. Mouth is watering here, but I can't take it. I can't take it with these guys. He had a back-to-back with the Royals, 3 innings, 5 hits, through 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, walk. At the Royals, the first time, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, 1 walk there. So interesting game. Both these offenses not the best either. 13th are the Minnesota Twins right now against lefties, 114 weighted runs created plus since the 15th and on. And right now the Detroit Tigers are 22nd, 88 weighted runs created plus against righties. So a pass game for me. Obviously, initially I was thinking under because I love these pitchers, but I couldn't get there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looks like it's a pass game for me too. But if I had to say, hey, Donnie, where would you go in this game? Probably leaning towards the Detroit Tigers. It's never an issue this year with Scooble, and you're right in the past. Man, load me up. Give me a bunch of right-handed batters in the past against Scooble. And he was getting rocked, seemingly turning it around this year. And for me, if we're looking at pitchers today on this card, Jose, minimum of 20 innings here in 2022, I have as the best pitcher on the card. A 69 xFIP minus sensational ERA at 2.44 and xFIP outrageous at 2.74. But the issue always it's not Scooble going out on the mound and dominating here for the Tigers. It's the issue, can the Tigers actually get some runs and can the bullpen hold up? So if I were to bet this game, I would take the Detroit Tigers first 5 innings money line, which is listed pretty cheap there at a minus 112 price. I think if he deals and also Ober deals, 1-0, 2-1 game after 5 and leave it at the door. Because quite frankly, if I'm betting Detroit full game and they're down after Scooble exits, then my handicap was wrong anyway at that point. So I'll take Scooble head up in this game. Give me the first 5 innings here at a minus 112 price. See where it goes at that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that he'll have a repetition of that 5 earned run appearance against Minnesota. I think he's obviously better than that. And we'll see. Let's check RotoWire to see if they have confirmed lineups because Buxton and Correa are out like every other day. So that's always the thing you got to check. So speak of the devil. Neither one of them are in this
out.
lineup.
Yeah. Yep. Both.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's Garlic, Sanchez, Polanco, Urshela, Larnick, Jose Miranda, Jeffers, Palacios, and Nick Gordon. Yeah, that's a stinky lineup right there from the Minnesota Twins. I think I'm gonna look up at a first 5 under here as well because it definitely is. My worry would be just I have an irrational just concern of Scooble. Like I'm kind of just still half in, half out. Maybe it's because the times I bet on him, it always seems to go poorly. And you can get it's a 3.5 right now for good reason. 3.5 at minus 105. So I'll write that down, keep it in the back of my head, and think about it. Yeah, exactly. So we'll move on here next game. And thanks everyone for joining us as always. We've got 3 more, including this one. Hit the like button as well. I appreciate it, and it helps us out very much. Let's talk Milwaukee Brewers versus the Chicago Cubs. And a play that I moved on here, and I did not think I'd be moving on this. It's not often you move on the Chicago Cubs. And I'm on the Cubs here, first 5 money line here. I also would not hate a first 5 under here as well because you've got a little bit of interesting conditions in Chicago right now. Let me double check and pull those up right now because I know I think it's a cold day there too, Donnie.
60 first pitch. Yeah. Not hot. Yeah. Certainly not hot.
And it's not windy, which is one of the big factors there, obviously. Ballpark Pal saying a 14% lower than average chance for home runs today, too. That makes me feel better. But I just trust the professor. I trust the professor, Kyle Hendricks, at home. That's just one of those things. We'll have maybe I've got a little bit of a bias here, but Kyle Hendricks began his season against these very Brewers at this very ballpark. And I remember thinking, oh, it'll be interesting to watch. And Kyle Hendricks, of course, goes out there, and it seems like every opening day. I mean, I think it is a known fact that Kyle Hendricks just dominates at Wrigley on opening day specifically. He went, let me double check here, 5 1/3, 5 hits, 1 run, 7 Ks, 3 walks that day. But as Kyle Hendricks is to do, once he goes to your home ballpark, he will give up runs. He will face these Brewers at Milwaukee, 4 1/3, 6 earned runs, 3 home runs. Just essentially batting practice that day. I remember that day too because I bet against him, thinking, well, this is the most obvious play ever. So now it's just kind of a snip snap back and forth. Shout out to The Office. I'm gonna keep betting on Kyle Hendricks when he's on at home, feeling good, all that good stuff. And when he's on the road, it's just gonna be a fade for me. Jason Alexander, Jimmy talked about him earlier this morning. You get the I guess the undrafted story, all that good stuff. I didn't even want to look into it because I am going to fade him mercilessly here. Undrafted. I'm sorry, Jason. I hope you struggle here. Perhaps just a 2-0 is fine for me here. So first 5 money line for me, -110. So what about you, Donnie, here?
Yeah, may you get your first 5 innings there out of Hendricks, but I'm hoping that he gets tuned up just a little bit here because I did take a team total here on the Milwaukee Brewers, and that's 3.5. A little bit expensive at BetMGM at a -140 price, but here's why. Kyle Hendricks on the season, xFIP minus number of 122, ERA, which I don't really take a look at. It is a 5.20, but I just like to see how it correlates like the FIP and the xFIP numbers, and it actually does. 5.20's FIP number is a 5.64. That Sierra getting close to 5 as well. I didn't take because I don't know what I'm getting out of the pitcher here for the Brewers. Don't trust them all that much. But if I'm looking from a Brewers perspective in the lineup tonight, I think they can hit a little bit. And there is a wind blowing in at Wrigley, but it's not one of those, Jose, 15, 20 miles an hour, which is really going to keep everything lower. But it is going to have a minimal effect on the game. But if I'm looking from 5 batters that will bat from the left-hand side tonight for the Brewers, that's where you want to attack Hendricks here. He's got a 384 weighted on base percentage against lefties and an ISO power number of 294. So Wong, Yelich, Tellez, Narvaez, and Peterson, they line up in that faction. And you don't need a lot. Like, we're not talking about, man, Jose, I need 7 runs tonight off Hendricks. Give me a couple runs in the first innings. You win it there, 3-2, pick up an extra 2 runs there between 6, 7, 8, and 9, and I'm living large here. So the thing that I do like about team totals is it doesn't really matter if your team gets beat. Just perform a little bit at the plate. So I took the team total here on the Brewers tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I remember, I forgot who it was the other day, but I think it was actually against the Red Sox. I was watching a game and they were just kicking someone's ass. And I took the other team's team total like over 3.5.
Yeah.
And I was just like, please, can the Red Sox just throw a position player at the end of the game? Please throw me a bone. The same thing happened with me and the over with Brandon Phillips and Ohtani that game. You know?
Oh, yes.
I was on the over and I was like, thank God Brandon Phillips going to come in here. And 3 swings later, the over cashed and just sat back and enjoyed the show. So I'm on the first 5 here. I also thought about a first 5 under as well, like I mentioned, but I can't trust Jason Alexander, unfortunately. Just don't want to put my money in him at the end of the day. So shout out to the chat as well here. We've got Big Show Picks, Boston Nick joining us as well. GVO Dale likes the Brew Crew as well. Daft fan, just finding out that there's no Harper in the lineup today, so that hurts Phillies fans, of course.
Brutal.
It is. I just think it is so just ironic and funny, Donnie, that the Phillies have trusted Dave Dombrowski, who has literally just been notorious in Boston for not being able to build a bullpen. And now that's the one thing the Phillies have not been able to do for the 10 years. And here we are. And a bunch of DHs later, we sit here. But shout out to Dave Dom and prayers for whoever takes that job next. Moving on, I don't know how we get into Phillies talk always, but I just love talking about the Phillies. And it's so funny, Donnie. I bet the Phillies to win that division the last 3 years.
And they're a lightning rod.
Yeah.
They're a lightning rod. Sooner or later, they'll get it together. All you need is a heartbeat out of the bullpen. And they never have a heartbeat. Like the Tin Man out there in the bullpen. No heart. No heart at all.
Never. It's so funny, too. It's like, Brad Hand is the best arm out of this bullpen? Oof. Yep. Shout out to Corey Knebel, too, who I've seen blown too many saves this year. Oh, man. Oh, let's talk about Jeffrey Springs and the Tampa Bay Rays versus the Texas Rangers here. And this is a game I really wanted to move on, Donnie. I really want to take the Rays here, but I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't pull the trigger. I want to talk it out first and see maybe you'll push me in that direction. Jeffrey Springs, I've said it every time he's pitched so far, and I'll keep saying it. The Rays are just a fickle, funny organization. They just take these relievers and they say, "How about you just keep on pitching? Just keep on pitching, see how long you can pitch, and then voila, they've got a starter." Jeffrey Springs has turned into one of those guys. He's 2-2 with a 1.62 ERA. Something I did not think I'd be saying this year. Last two starts versus the Yankees, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs off 2 home runs, 6 Ks, no walks. And at the Orioles, he goes 5 1/3, 1 hit ball, 7 Ks, 4 walks there. So not you can even say that wasn't even a goodish start for him because he gave up 4 walks. I mean, Jeffrey Springs will just have all that motivation. He went out there and showed it like the next start against the Yankees with no walks. So I wanted to take him here, but the big factor that took me off of it, Texas Rangers are hot, especially against lefties. Since the 15th till today, fifth against lefties, 141 weighted runs created plus. As they say, that will play against lefties. And John Gray on the other side, we'll mention him real quick. Funniest stat for me about John Gray, this is his second home start this season. This is only his second. Every time he pitches, it seems to be on the road. And it's just so funny to me. If you bring up his fan graphs, you just see and he's at one home start. Now, this is the second. He struggled in that home start against the Angels, I believe it was. He struggled against the Oakland A's at the A's, 6 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 home runs there. All that to say is that I kind of wanted to lean to a first 5 over here too, Donnie. First 5 over 4, low number. And it's just the Springs versus the Rangers is really the thing that took me off this game. So I was hoping for a little bit of your insight here, Donnie.
Yeah, cheap number there, -118, because you look at the pitcher-to-pitcher matchup this in 2022, it's clearly Springs is the guy. Lower xFIP numbers, done really well weighted on base percentage with lefty and righty batters. But I couldn't get a feel for this game. Like, I wouldn't want to lead you in the wrong direction. Like, hey, you know what? Man, Springs going out there dominating tonight. Forget about the Rangers. The Rangers have actually been very good to me in the recent 2 weeks, outside of last night where I was close to a sweep and I lost by half of a run, by the hook, because the Texas Rangers only got 3 runs through 4 innings and didn't tack on any more, which I just needed 4 runs to have that. But you're right, the Rangers are hot here, and it's a cheap price, but it looks like it's one of those, boy, go ahead and take the Texas Rangers with that cheap +100. They're going to be in this ball game. I can see it here, but I'm not swaying anybody in the wrong direction by just throwing something at them like, hey, you know what, Jose? Yeah, you're right. Go ahead and take those Rangers. I agree. I actually don't have a strong opinion on this one.
Yeah, it's just I think I'm gonna stay off. It'd be the first 5 over 4 is the play that I'm gonna sit here and rack my brain. If I'm going to take the Rays, it's first 5 -0.5 just to get a good plus money price. So it'd be +120. But yeah, I guess it'll be a stay off. I'm just looking at it right now. It's staring me in the face, and we'll see if we get there. Shout out to Top Set for joining us in there as well. Kyle Hentley and making his big boy bets. He's got a K on the Brewers today. So that's a good little rhyme there. K on the Brewers today. So shout out to you, my guy, for watching as always in Top Set. Playing poker, trying to get some money on some UFC stars. Beat that fucker Colby Covington's ass in some cards, whatever you're playing. Beat his ass, Top Set. Tell him to go fuck himself too. Next game on our docket is the last game. And everyone, I think, is kind of waiting for this because, Donnie, it is not possible.
That's not.
It is not possible that these Pirates can sweep the Dodgers at home. Right. And there's no way.
No.
Jose Quintana, I mean, I guess you could call him the ace. I don't know. He's been pitching as the best pitcher on this staff. He's made me lose a lot of money this year. I thought, this guy's washed 3 years ago. I'm going to fade him every time out. I've only won 1 bet against him, At the Padres last time out, I lose the team total on the Padres. He goes 5 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, none of them earned, 4 Ks, 2 walks. Versus the Cardinals, where I proclaimed if he does not get touched up here, then I don't know when he's going to get touched up because the Cardinals were the best against lefties. He finally gets hit a little bit. 5 runs, only 2 of them earned, too. So he makes me feel even better. So all that is to say, and plus we got Mitch White on the other side. We'll mention him obviously real quick. At the Diamondbacks last time out, he goes 4 innings, 2 hits, 9 runs, 2 Ks, 2 walks. Kind of a reliever, long guy, bullpen day, whatever we're going to call it for the Dodgers here today. today is the day of the last 3 days that makes the most sense to take the Pirates. Just if you look at the game alone, but I'm not on it here. Just because I said the rule is if it's a minus 300 or higher, I'm going to take the money line for the other team every single time. No matter what, the numbers will shit all over me. If I think about the numbers, I'm not going to want to take it. And, it's the same case, obviously, here because, the Dodgers against lefties, fourth, 143 weighted runs created plus. The Pirates can't hit lefties, 75 weighted runs created plus. But, it's very appealing. Like the swashbuckler in me, Donnie, wants to take the Pirates here again. I'll admit it. What do you have on this game?
Yeah, it's hard to believe because, being an old man like I am, I don't really get to finish up too many Dodger games on the left coast over there. But every time I wake up and I see the Pirates, I'm like, damn, they really won again. Because, like, if the Pirates win one game against the Dodgers in a season, it's like good for them. But the absolute dominance over the Dodgers and the comeback victories and looking like the better baseball team. And you're right. If you're looking from a perspective of the Pirates, you say, which one game they can get? It should be this game. Where a pitcher, you're not so confident here in the Dodgers. You have a veteran on the mound for the Pittsburgh Pirates. You don't have to go out there and beat Walker Buehrle or Urias at this point. You just have to get out there and say, let me take some cuts here and see what's going to take place. Now, Jose Quintana, he's got a 102 xFIP minus, which isn't that bad. Great ERA, 2.15, but his xFIP is a little bit higher than his ERA, that 4.01, and that CR rate of a 4.24. Eventually, this left-hander is going to get pounded because he's not a power pitcher. It's like, let me rely on my curveball, let me hit the outside corner, let me work my pitches, and if it's not there against the Dodgers, you're going to get raked. Their team total for the Dodgers tonight is 5. If I wake up tomorrow morning and the Pirates won 3-2 or 4-2 over the Dodgers, I would be shocked. So even if the Pirates end up winning, maybe it's a higher scoring game, I probably would look, instead of even taking the Dodgers team total, which they have to get 6 to cash that in, maybe just looking at a 9 saying, if the Pittsburgh Pirates can come to play and put up 3 runs in this game, you'll be in it for that 9. So maybe that's a little bit better than laying the 255 or even taking a 5 as a team total in the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think the last 2 days as well, I've said something similar because I thought, just the capping, I'll remember distinctly. The first game was Zach Thompson, Walker Buehrle, and it was such a weird, just odd sheet. You're looking at it, The total's 8, but the team total for the Dodgers was 5.5. It's like, okay, well, these guys obviously don't think the Pirates are going to contribute anything here. Yep. So I was like, that's crazy. So obviously that was my first thing is I've got to at least just try the over. If the Pirates win this game, the over's cashing as well. Is essentially the whole thing. And again, I'll admit I want to take the Pirates so bad, but a stat that my guy Noli Knows said earlier today, I think the Dodgers are 90 win plus teams are 90% when avoiding the sweep at home. All that good stuff. And I was like, oh, man. On top of that, you look at the Pirates' schedule. They have an off day tomorrow at Arizona. But it feels like, that big win last night. You get 2, you clinch the series. So last night was the night for them to go fucking get drunk, dance, all that good stuff. And it's like, I just ultimately, I'm a little, I guess this is the time where I'm a little scared. I don't have the affirmation of that minus 300 there to make me be like, oh, of course, I'm going to bet it, and all that good stuff. So Donnie, like I said, I'm very excited for the next minus 300 that comes up on the board because there's no possible way, Donnie. There's no possible way I can go 4-0 on minus 300s this year. There's no possible way I can do it.
Crazy.
No
Craziness catching big tickets like that. You're out of your mind.
Exactly. So we're going to recap our plays here. And I think I am going to add a couple here. So stick around for that. Let's shout out our sponsors real quick. Our guys at Dr. Squatch. You guys didn't think I was going to do it because I didn't do it at the top of the show, but they're back. Dr. Squatch, our guys, a very natural, good smelling soap that you guys can use. It's a soap for men. It'll hydrate you guys, all that good stuff. You've got the Moon Rock, Area 51, the Black Hole, and Mars Bar here. Like I've told you guys, the Black Hole is my personal favorite. It looks cool. Something that can, someone goes into your bathroom, they just see this big brick of like mysterious, like whatever's in there. That's a conversation piece. It's in the links in the description right now. Go support them. They support us. And like I said, use that link in the description because they support us, and that will let them know that we sent you guys. So definitely go do that, our friends at Dr. Squatch. Not wait for that here. Donnie, I let you lead it off here. You seem like a leadoff guy. You seem quick.
Yeah.
I can see that. You can set the table.
Sure.
What are you on today?
Yeah, 3-pack, I think that makes sense for me, and I love the fact that we're going head-to-head. Seattle money line -140 up against the Baltimore Orioles. Second play, the Chicago White Sox team total over 3.5 at a -120 price. And the game we just talked about a few moments ago, I'm going to take the Milwaukee Brewers team total at 3.5 at a -140. And I use BetMGM 90% of the time for team totals. Depends on sides or regular totals. I use a multitude of sports books, but I do like the fact that you can always get those half numbers. You want 4.5, 3.5, 2.5, whatever it is, as long as you want to do it, buy it down if it makes some sense. So those were the ones I took there. Money line was at FanDuel. The other two were at BetMGM. So you could probably go out there. Numbers have probably changed from this morning, but you can still get the 3.5s and both 3.5s if you want. It just depends on the price.
Beautiful. I also, that is my favorite thing about someone like Bovada as well. Picking your team totals, having that options is the best part. All right. So for me, man, I think I'm gonna do it, Donnie. It's like an addiction. It's like an addiction that I can't stop here. We'll start with the plays of locked in. Orioles money line +122 going up against Donnie here. Robbie Ray versus Kyle Bradish. I think you got the pitching matchup advantage there. I'd admit it there. I also am Baltimore team total over 3.5 -115. Miami Marlins first 5 money line -110 for game 2, which I think game 1 is officially final, by the way. I think it's like 14-0 final. So shout out to them. Chicago first 5 money line -110. The professor, Kyle Hendricks, believing in him as well. I'm adding that first 5 over 4 in the Tampa Bay Rays Texas Rangers game. Jeffrey Springs has been great, but I'm gonna think these hot bats of the Rangers contribute here. Just give me 2. Just give me 2. I think the Rays can give me 3 and give me over that 4 number pretty easily. And you know what, Donnie? They've paid me so well. Who am I not to trust the Pittsburgh Pirates, Donnie? Who am I not to trust them? I've trusted them before, and they've put money in my pocket. You hit those bets, they pay for 3 more. And I got a free shot here, Donnie. And it's just like the guys in Mad Max when they're fucking spraying their mouths with fucking spray paint, the silver spray paint. They want to go to Valhalla. That's me and the fucking Pirates here. I'm taking the Pirates again, money line, +215. You ride the hot hand. They got an off day tomorrow. Complete the sweep. And I'm going to go get my Pirates jersey tomorrow. I cannot wait. It's going to be, I forgot the guy's name already. His name reminds me of Topo Chico, but I love him. He's hit 2 home runs in the series so far. Shout out to him. It is going to be a fun game. So officially, I'm on 5 plays. Orioles money line, Orioles team total over 3.5. Miami Marlins first 5 money line, along with the Cubs first 5 money line. First 5 over in Texas Rangers and the Rays and the fucking Buccos. I'm on the Buccos again. Money line +215. We're taking shots. Like I said, today's the day that makes the most sense to take them. It won't be surprised me if they lose. No way can they beat the Dodgers 3 straight at their place. No way, Donnie.
We'll see. Well, by the way, no way. Don't look now. The Astros mounting a comeback out in Oakland. So watch out. Watch out.
You'd hate to see that. You'd hate to see that. Live betting opportunities galore. Shout out to the A's. That would damage their fan base even more than it already is. But there's like 6 people. There's like 6 people at the game, so who cares?
There's more Astros family members at that game than Athletics fans, probably.
That is 100% true. That is 100% true. Shout out to them. And never forget when I was in the Astros family section for a Red Sox-Astros playoff game, making a fool of myself. So that was also a fun time. Donnie, I appreciate you for joining me. This is always fun when you join me. Like I said, you're a Pub Sports Radio original. and we appreciate you as well. Always, I appreciate you for putting in the hard work, building this channel to where it is today, and helping it become what it is and what it is now. So I appreciate that as always. Donnie, any final words for the people in the chat? Where can people find you?
Yeah, on Twitter at RightSideVP. Do a couple shows here on the Sports Grid Network. Also put out videos for Bookmakers Review. And by the way, it's funny. I look at the Pub Sports Radio number, 17,800 subscribers. I remember talking to Jeff back in the day when the channel just went online. It's like, all right, man, we're up to 36 subscribers.
Let's
We're up
go.
to 48 today. Yeah, so you want to talk about like a day one guy? That certainly was me on the YouTube channel. So good work out there building that thing up.
Yes, you're a Pub Sports Radio original. Like I say, it's the same thing. You're our Tommy Dreamer. You're
there it is.
ECW
Hey,
region. That is you right there.
Man.
That's a poll right there. Who says I'm young? Who says I don't know about
That's beautiful,
old
man.
culture? Who says
little
I
new
don't?
Jack? Maybe you're the new Jack of this channel. So we'll get going here.
I will try to kill people in the ring. Yes, that is me.
Yeah.
Shout out to that, and never forget when I dyed my hair blue to getting 1,000 subs on the channel too. So that was good memories there. So yes, it's always fantastic. Donnie, I thank you as always for joining me. It's a lovely time to see you as always. I hope to see you sometime soon again. As always, you're all over the place. Say hey to Donnie on Twitter at RightSideVP. Say hey to me on Twitter at Jose Bouquett. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central. Say hey plays, rolling strong. 56 of these things rolled, done, performed, perfect. So we're rolling here, and Bobano joining with us tomorrow. So it'll be a great time. Donnie, thanks so much, and see you guys, everyone, tomorrow, 5:30. Till then, say hey.